Are you guys that fucking stupid? You can't be that fucking stupid to think that Jon Jones is not the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world and the GOAT. But maybe you are.
He's not going to talk to any of us either, because right now...
What do you mean?
He's watching this, and we're all saying, questioning you, and...
Yeah, question me. How do you... Who's better than Jon Jones? Who's pound-for-pound better than...
No? Okay.
At what point does activity come into play, right? I mean, we all agree there is nobody better than Jon Jones. He's the greatest of all time. There's no question about it. But at some point when you're looking at rankings, they do have to represent what's happening in the organization at that moment, right at that time. And in the past 3 years, he's had one fight.
And you thought he lost to Reyes.
Huh?
And when he fought Reyes, you said you thought Reyes won the fight.
He didn't win the fight. Jon Jones did.
You said you thought he won.
Who gives a shit? I'm not the fucking judges. The guy didn't win he didn't lose the fight. And the one loss that he has is from a referee that should have never been a referee in a million years. He's never lost. We were just talking tonight, these kids that come in here that are undefeated, you know how hard it is to stay undefeated? Jon Jones went through murderer's row. And when you talk about activity, and he's fought one time, but Jon Jones was supposed to fight. If Jon Jones was sitting on the couch and saying, yeah, I don't know when I'm going to fight again, then he's definitely not in the pound-for-pound discussion right now. He was scheduled to fight, and he got injured. He is an active fighter. He is absolutely an active fighter. And when you talk about pound-for-pound, and I don't want to shit on any of my other guys, but who is it right now? Islam? Islam, many people believe, lost to the guy who's a weight class below him. Is that how pound for pound works? Many people, including people in this room.
But he got the win. It doesn't matter what we say.
You're absolutely right. But he fought a weight class down. Jon Jones fought a weight class up. And let me tell you what, when all the guys were in there, you had the Jon Jones, the Anderson Silvas, and the George St. Pierres. I know who wanted to fight who and who didn't want to fight who. And Jon Jones has always been willing to fight everybody.
But in your opinion, who do you consider the greatest fighter right now?
Greatest fighter right now? Probably Islam. Oh yeah, probably Islam.
Do you agree with how much Dana's been praising Jon Jones?
Jon Jones is the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world, period, end of story.
I mean, Jon Jones is up there. There's just, you picture right now, and you kind of go back 4 or 5 years, and so I think Jon's fought once in the last 4 or 5 years. Jon Jones is up there of greatest of all time, but right now, who's the greatest? Like, who's been active the last 4 years or whatever? I think it's Islam, but Jon Jones is always going to be in the conversation.
Stipe's reputation is fantastic, but he has not won a fight since he beat DC in 4 years. So that also plays into it. Partially a factor when you have a guy like Aspinall knocking Sergey Pavlovich out in a minute, Curtis Blades in less than a minute, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, that's just me.
No, I don't disagree with you. But here's the flip side to that. So what do? A guy who's looked at as the greatest heavyweight in the UFC, right? This fight set up. Jon Jones gets hurt. Not his fault. He has to wait and go back into fucking training camp again. He was training. So do I just yank it away from Stipe and say, hey, go fuck yourself and sit on the sidelines for 2 more years? Or you know what I mean? If I did that, you guys would be like, oh, you fucking disrespected the greatest heavyweight ever. And you know what I mean? So would the fucking fans. So I should just shit on Stipe because Jon got hurt.
I feel a little bit sad, but same time, I always understand, like, my game, it's worse for him. He don't have wrestling, he don't have grappling. What he gonna do with me? How he gonna stop me? Only chance how he can stop me, it was like only lucky punch. Like with everybody. When he fight with Danny Castillo, Dariush, Justin Gaethje, Charles Oliveira, all these guys maul him, He didn't have wrestling defense, he didn't have grappling, like good grappling. Like my fighting game, it was worst for him, I'm a little bit sad, but what we can do, if God have some plan, nobody can change this, We're supposed to fight 5 times, he pull out, I have injuries, like, You know, this is not under my control.
I don't give a